In this video, let's look at the final deployment process of an application. Okay, so to start off with, let's actually try one more thing before going with that. Okay, so in order we discussed earlier that Flutter, in using Flutter we can build applications for iOS, Android, web and all those stuff, right? So for building for applications for web, what we have to do is, as per the what do we say, the official documentation, they say that we have to be in our we have to be inside, like using a beta version of a Flutter SDK. Okay, so I'll share this link in this description below. So what you have to do is, inside the command line you have to run these commands so that git Flutter for web will be enabled. Okay, so make sure that you have added the Flutter SDK path to the environment variables, only then it will be working. Okay, so after that you'll be having an option like option to choose Chrome from here. It only works if you are having a Chrome browser. Okay, so select Chrome from there and then click on run again. So it for the first time it takes some time, similar to that of the emulator. So let's wait till it builds successfully for the web. Sometimes even though it completes successfully, it will not be showing anything, but if we deploy our code, it will be showing something. So let's try whether this will show us anything in this Chrome web. Okay, so as you can see over here, this is loading and you can see if the default Flutter icon logo over here. So sometimes it may finish loading or sometimes it may cause an error and will not load up. It will automatically close this window. So this the reason for this to happen is this is still there is Flutter for web is still a kind of a beta version, and that's the reason why it's not stable. So yes, as you can see over here, it failed to establish a connection with the application instance because it's saying that the WebSocket connection could not be established due to some reason. For example, it said that it may be due to a firewall, but this doesn't has a firewall enabled, so that may be the reason. So sometimes this Flutter for web works fine in my system, but sometimes this might be the case. So what we can do is, actually there are multiple things we can do. Okay, so either you can straight away go get the code from our project directory and deploy the code, or we can deploy it after building this application for the final time. Okay, so let's proceed with that now. So what you have to do is, once your application is ready and you're sure that there's no change need to be made, actually even though there needs to be even though there's a even if there's a change, there's no problem. Okay, so what you have to do is, you can see a lot of options here, right? So first click on build option over here. Okay, so inside build you can see that there's different options like Flutter analyze APK deploy module tap engine and different stuff. So go to Flutter and inside that click build APK. So this is for Android. You can try out for build iOS by yourself. Okay, so I will show you how to do with build APK. Okay, I think for building with iOS you may need a Mac OS, so I'll go with a build APK for the time being. So this APK, that is a .apk file, is the default application package which can be used to deploy, or you can go with the app bundle, but for the time being we can use APK files because it will help us to share the files seamlessly, and we can directly share it through any medium like WhatsApp or Facebook, or not Facebook actually, mail and similar stuffs. If you are using APK, then we can directly install from that using package extractor or this package installer. Okay, so let's wait till this build is final build is over. So it also takes some time, like usually it takes around 2 minutes or something like that for me. So let's wait till that. So as you guys know, this is the final what do I say final video for this bootcamp. So I'll share you some tips to continue with Flutter. Okay, so the first thing is the most basic one, which you need to keep in mind always, that is never stop building apps using Flutter. Like be it anything, never stop doing that. Okay, because that will of course that will affect your performance in this app development, because you might forget some concepts, you might forget something and similar stuffs. Okay, even you might forget what's a scaffold, how should we define a scaffold and things like that. Okay, so make sure that you are doing it every once in a while. So another thing is to keep on doing. So the one of the best thing that I would like to suggest you to try out next is the Google Code Labs. So I will just show you what Google Code Labs is if you don't know. So I'm going to select Google Code Labs, and inside this there's a lot of code labs. So there's a plenty of code labs that we can do, okay, to learn something. So let's filter by category to select. Okay, not that, let's choose. Okay, wait a minute. So yes, from filter by category, let's select Flutter. So inside this itself you can see a lot of code labs. There is adding Google Maps to a Flutter application, then for building a photo sharing app, building beautiful UIs, and there's a lot of things over here. So you can try that. You can it's completely free, so you can try it out very much easily. There's a well structured documentation that is developed by Google itself, so you can do that directly. Okay, for example, the introduction slide gives you all the details that you need for getting started. Okay, so similar ways. So that's the best suggestion which I can give. So the next thing is always what can I say, you can actually there's no need for always checking out for a course to do that. Actually you can directly do that. If you have some kind of user interface in your mind, try to get started with it, and check in the internet whether there's something available, some resources available similar to that. Follow that if there's something available and build it, or only then we will learn. Okay, we will learn by doing itself. Okay, so that's regarding that about building applications. And the best method to learn obviously is this Flutter official documentation. Okay, so once you get started, this is actually Flutter documentation. So once you get started with that, you might feel like at first you might feel kind of difficult to follow, because it's completely write-ups. So actually the thing is it's super easy to follow. With there's everything that you need inside this documentation. The getting started widgets catalog. So if for an example, inside this widget catalog, there's a lot of things, that is animation, assets, images, everything, basics, asynchronous programming, layout, scrolling, everything. There's everything that you need inside this official documentation, so you can follow that too. Okay, so yes, that's regarding that. And like you can try developing some applications for your own too. So another important update which I would like to share is something like this. After this bootcamp, we'll be providing you with a task that is similar to an assignment or something like that, and we'll be giving you a time limit for doing that. And once you submit it to us, we'll be considering that you have successfully completed this bootcamp. So even if you can't finish on that project, just you can share whatever you had tried out. We'll count that in, and we'll count that it. Okay, so you can do that. So yes, we are always available for your, what do I say, for your queries. So we know that we were not able to do something sometimes because some errors, we weren't able to solve some errors, so we are extremely sorry for that. Yes, so now coming back to this, let's do search for our APK files. So as you can see over here, it says that process finished with exit code 0, and you can find a file path over here, that is inside build app outputs, APK releases, app releases, and everything, and the file size is 15 MB. So let's locate that particular this app release.apk file. Okay, so let me go into my this folder. So inside that I need to open my D, then go inside Android, the project's location where I stored my application. Okay, inside that select your application. So this was something like what was the name? uh, Wait a minute, let me find the name of the project. Maybe I think it's splash screen, right? I forgot it. Yeah, splash screen. Okay, so inside splash screen application, there'll be a lot of packages like this. Okay, inside this build you can find app, then inside this you can find outputs. So inside this you can find apk, and inside this you can find release, and this is the application, that is .apk file, which we can share to install our application. So you can just simply drag and drop this to our window, then you can simply share it to your friends, or you can try it out yourself. So while downloading that and while downloading and installing that, it might ask you to it might ask you to not to proceed with the application, that is Google Play might ask you to not to proceed with this application, because it has not been installed directly from the Play Store. So you can actually neglect that, because it's the application which we built and we can trust. Obviously we can trust that. Okay, so the next thing is, if you want to publish your application, what you have to do is go to Google Play Console. So once you go to Google Play Console, it is a place where developers can publish their applications. So you will have to make a payment of $25. That is a one-time fees. So you will have to do that. Once you make a payment, you will have access to your Google Play Console account, and you can publish your applications inside that. It's just simple. You can just add your APK version, you can upload your APK version, you need to add some screenshots of different angles, that is portrait, landscapes and all. You need to add an app icon, you need to have a good description, you need to provide the developer details, contact details and all those stuffs, and after that you can publish your applications on Play Store. So it usually takes around 2 to 3 days for your applications to get published, so that it is available to billions of people around the world. So that's regarding publishing on Play Store. I'm actually not able to demonstrate that because I haven't set up my Play Console account. Okay, so the next thing is let's go back to this PC. Inside D, where's my project? Inside projects, splash. Okay, that's not trial. Inside splash screen, so there's something called web over here. Inside web you can find this thing called as index. So actually this is the thing, that is the web deployed version of our applications. It may sometimes load into in your app browser, it may not load into your browser sometime. So let's try whether that will work or not. So for that, what I'm going to do is inside my browser, I'm going to my GitHub profile, and I'm going to host that. Let's try to host that. So I'm going to create a repository. So let the repository name be splash screen sample. So I'm not giving a description. I'm going to make this private because I don't want others to see that. So I'm going to create a repository now. So after creating this repository, what you have to do is click on upload an existing file, and then inside that what you have to do is I'm going to drag and drop all this. Let's wait. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to drag and drop all this inside my GitHub repository and wait till that gets uploaded. So it's uploading, as you can see over here. Yeah, now it's over. I'm going to comment the changes. So let's wait till it's over. So yes, now it's kind of published in my repository. So the next thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to a website called as netlify.com, where I can host my GitHub repositories for free. That is, host the websites which is added on GitHub for free. So I'm going to log into my account. So you will have to log in using your GitHub credentials, so that it can directly access the files from there. Okay, so I'm signing in with my GitHub credentials. So I'm going to click on that new site from Git, then select GitHub from here because I hosted my repository on GitHub. So the next thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to select the repository which I want to deploy using Netlify. So the name of that was splash screen sample. So I'm going to select that, uh, and I'm going to deploy site. Okay, click on deploy site. So now the site is site deploy is in progress. So now this link is obtained, that is when we click on that, it will lead to our website. So yes, sometimes if there was no error in our web build, it will show up after sometimes, most probably. So let's wait and see whether something comes up or not. So actually this is how we deploy our web applications. Okay, so I'll show you something else which I built for mobile, and I tried to deploy on web. So in on web it doesn't it doesn't see, like, it doesn't look good, but actually in mobile view it kind of looks okay. So this is the web what can I say, web deployed version of my another application. So yeah, this is it. So that was a splash screen. So I'll just extend this. So this is the actually kind of the mobile view, that is a yeah, mobile view. So the navigation bar, so you might find this quite similar, right? So yeah, this is something which I try to build. So but when I expand this window, so this kind of looks weird because this was not meant for a web view. Okay, the application was not meant for a web view, so that's the reason why this kind of looks weird. But actually the functionalities remains the same and the deployment procedure also remains the same. So sometimes it doesn't go well because the Flutter for web is still in beta version, especially for Windows, I think. So let me try that once again whether it's correct or not. So let's wait till that loads. I think it may not have been what do I say, it may not have gone good. So that's the reason why this is not showing anything. So let me go back to Android's view, and then click on, okay, what did I click on? Click on cancel. Oops, what did that do? Okay, I'm going to click on build, then Flutter, then okay, inside terminal I'm going to, where's terminal? Okay, so in this where's that? Okay, inside this Flutter Flutter, yeah, Flutter for website, that we know that I said earlier, right, there's some commands which can be used for that. So let's try utilizing that for the time being, like to demonstrate that. I don't know whether it will work or not. So building a web application with Flutter, then inside this I'm going to run this particular command. Okay, Flutter build web. Okay, so that is we are building an application for web. So let's try running that. So maybe I missed that a little earlier, that's the reason, that may be the reason why it didn't go well for me. So Flutter build web, I'm going to run that command. So this command will work only if you have added Flutter to your path. So while this command runs, I'll show you how to do that. So how to do that. So go to this PC, that is your computer, then right click anywhere and go to properties, and inside properties you have something like advanced system settings over here. Then inside advanced system settings, there's something called as environment variables. Select that and you have to click on new. So once you click on new, this will come a variable name and variable value. So what you have to do is select this, that is give the variable name as path and variable value as the what do I say, there's a folder called as bin inside the Flutter SDK location. So you had to select that. That is, I'll show you that inside. Where's that? Let's wait till that shows up inside. That's not inside desktop actually. uh, okay, it's not showing up for me for the time being. So that's it. Inside this Flutter there's a folder called as bin. So I'll show the other way. So inside D, and then Android, then Flutter, then my Flutter folder. This is the bin folder. You had to select that folder, and after that you had to click on OK, then OK over here, then OK over the other places too. That is, you will have to click on apply here, and then okay, you can close all these steps, and now the Flutter will be added to your path, and after that you will be able to run your application, that is run the commands. Okay, so now it took me 71 seconds for building for web. Okay, now what I am going to do is I'm going to go back to my this location, and let's go back to this splash screen main folder, and inside build, let's check whether there's something for web. Okay, so now this has been built for web. So what I'm going to do is I will replace this other file inside the GitHub with this current one. Okay, let's try with that. So inside GitHub, like inside that, let me go to my GitHub. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new repository, because deleting this thing will take some time. So I'm going to create a new repository called as okay, wait a minute, called as splash screen sample. Okay, so I'm going to make it a private because I don't want anyone else to see that, and creating the repository, so it will take a second or so. So I'm going to upload those files which was in that. So let's select all of these files and drag and drop into this GitHub. So, and let's wait till it is uploaded properly. So 13 files is being uploaded. So yes, the upload is complete. So let's now commit the changes so that it will be stored. And after processing, let's proceed back to Netlify to check whether our website, whether we can host a website or not. So let's wait. So it has been processed successfully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the where okay, I'm just closing this window and going back to this link app.netlify.com, and after that I'm going to click on new site from Git again, then connecting GitHub, so that I can access the repository which I have deployed on GitHub. Okay, so now I had to search for that particular thing, splash screen sample. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so now I'm going to deploy site. So let's wait till the deploy is over, and we get a link. I'm not sure now also whether we will get access to that web view. Yeah, let's try this one. So yeah, so in the meantime, another thing, just click on site settings, and then you can change the site name to something which you want, maybe SS screen sample 123. I'm just going with that, so you will get something like a website like this. So I'm going to, yeah, now our what do I say, the application is now available on web. So once you reload this, it will not be available because we changed our domain name. So once you click on this link again, you can utilize your web view, like that is website. So there's this splash screen which we built, and yeah, this is now accessible. That is, if we click on home, this thing will come. So if we click on events, this event details will come. If we click on sponsors, it will come. If we click on contact, it will come, and everything will be okay. So there are some methods using which we can build for this Android and web simultaneously, using the width query. That is, if the width of the device is greater than something, we can set the content in such a way that it looks uh, good in both the versions. Okay, so let's close that. So yes, that was pretty much everything for this video. So we have covered everything from like deploying our application using the .apk version, as well as the website deployment. So let's now close this video. Okay, one more thing before that, what I have to share is inside our Flutter for web, this thing, Flutter web, yeah, Flutter web tutorial which we looked into earlier. Actually there was something some command for in like something like add web support to an existing application. Okay, so what you have to do is uh, inside your current application, that is if you have built something else, you can again add this web support. So what you have to do is write command like this: flutter create space dot, then run it. After that, flutter run the chrome. After that, you can again go with Flutter Build web and obtain the built version of your application. You can again host it. Okay, so yes, that's regarding the Flutter. And yes, so thank you very much for participating in this bootcamp. So if you have any queries, do reach out to us. We are ready to help you. Okay.